page. I'm messing around with this book. Really cool. A book big deal to me a long time ago. The Baroque Guitar by Frederick Noad. I'm kind of here to do the news, but I sort of got sidetracked messing around with songs that I've just always loved. This is by Gaspar Sanz called the Canarios. Practice this. Wow, okay. Well, I'm really here to give you the news, except you know what? I gotta show you another one that's really cool. What day is today? It is Friday. Oh, it's the end of February. It's the 28th. Another one of my favorites that I hope to learn someday. Oh, that's not the right finger. So I've been messing around with this book every once in a while. It of course has this in it as well. But like I said, I hope to get to a lesson that, but are we going to do that measure that way or this way? Which you like better? Okay. I gotta stop messing around and really get around to delivering the news. Let me check my notes. What happened this week? Oh, I have 2 or 3 things. The big things I want to talk about. The uploader's working. That means Neil has to get back to work on reviewing lessons. That is part of my plan for next week. Speaking of next week, I'm not really sure what's going to happen. I am going to be traveling. I hope to get some of my... Actually, I have most of the work done I need to for next week. But news might be a problem next week. So don't get your sights set on Friday yet for next week. Might have to wait till later. Let's see. I want to talk about camp. I want to talk about common progressions and a few other things. And let's see. What else have I been playing lately? I've been really working on my. What's next? Oh. If you remember, many months ago, I played this and I was running out of gas by the time I got to here. But you know what? The endurance is coming back. Unfortunately, now the hard part in this becomes when it gets down to here. Wait a minute, let me try it again. Yikes, gotta clean that up. Always getting messed up on harmonics at the end too. Oh, got it! Almost got it. And a couple of beautiful chords at the end. Test the ears. You know what that one was? You know what this one is? Okay. Enough goofing off. Now I got to tell you what happened this week. Let's see. We had another Beatles tune. I'll Get You. Imagine I'm in love. Beautiful tune. And I guess every time I break out all this classical stuff, it makes me think, I got to put up more kind of easy pieces for reading. I hope people took a look at the Carulli exercises that I dug up for this week, and I got to get back on that. Next week, I think, well, or at least soon, we will continue the reading music stuff and look at songs in the keys, progressing into the next keys. We'll take a look at G and D and A and E, and that will probably be it. Also, dug up the second night of our John Renbourn workshop. That was from a long time ago, almost 15 years ago. It was 98. My gosh. over 15 years ago now. And that was kind of, there's still some pretty fun stuff there coming up, so we'll drip that out over the next few weeks, the next few episodes of that. Oh, had something else kind of interesting happen this week. Monday, somebody that some of you may know, Bob Lindsay, came by, took a lesson. He was here for a little while on Monday, and hope to get some of his lesson diced out into a fly on the wall, because we went over a lot of stuff that I think is common for a lot of people. Is you've got bits and pieces of information, but it's not always put together in a logical manner, and that's something I think is really important. Something I really try to work on with students. Try to figure out what you've got and what you don't have, and fill in the holes. And I think we had a little of that with Bob earlier this week. And which kind of brings me up to camp, because I first met Bob last year at our IGC, and I believe he is planning on coming back to this one. Glad everybody else has gotten on board and taken advantage of the early bird special that scheduled to, we're going to extend it just through the weekend because it's easier for our bookkeeping and stuff like that. So if anybody is thinking about it, you have till midnight Sunday night, the end of the day Sunday, which will be March 2nd. I guess we're going with midnight Pacific time, or it's got to be midnight local time. Whatever, I don't know. We're not going to be that fussy about it. But as we head into Monday, the discount for the early birds is going to be over. Now, I know a lot of people couldn't plan this far in advance, and maybe couldn't really commit to it till April or May. But okay, that's it on the camp. Want to thank Vanessa for her lesson. Another Taylor Swift song read, and a lot of really good theory in there of how to play in different keys, how to think in different keys that play in the same key. You could be in C, you could be in E. I could capo to the 4th fret, play it in C, the 2nd fret, play it in D. I could go to the 7th fret, play it in A. I could go to the 9th fret, play it in G. And every one of those will add a different character to the song, which really brings me to a lesson that's coming out next week. I hope. Not sure yet about this. But I want to expand on the idea of creating second guitar parts, because that's something that a lot of people want to, have a better idea of. If we have 2 guitars, should I just, if I'm playing Hotel California, bad example because that has 2 really distinct guitar parts, capoed 5 frets apart. So a common thing to do is put capo 5 frets apart, or 0 and 5, or something like that, and play in keys that are a 4th apart. The person with the capo at the 5th fret would play in a key a 4th lower, so that capoing up a 4th will bring it back into the same key. Simple example, Dark Hollow. I'd rather be in some dark hollow. I'm thinking A. Capo's handy since I brought this up. Put it at the 2nd fret and play a step lower, because I just made it a step higher. Go down from A to G. Okay. Bring it up a 4th to the 5th fret. Play a 4th lower than A. That would put me in E. Etc. Anyway, so we have 5 common keys to play in on the guitar. I address this in lots of lessons. Why am I going into this now? I don't know. Because there's lessons coming up over the next few weeks that are going to go further into this. You should be familiar with the 5 common keys. What are they? C, D, E, G, and A. Very simple. It's the 5 keys that we have an open major chord that we can play. Okay, enough preaching for now. What else do I want to talk about? Common chord progressions. Willem, this is a great question. Why is it, we don't have that many chords. How is it we can have millions of songs when we only have a finite number of chords and orders we can play them in. And why is it we can get away with songs, so many songs that only use 3 chords? There was one, Dark Hollow. Did it sound anything like Brown Eyed Girl? Only a little. But that's because different melodies, different rhythms, different accompaniments, and different arrangements, different lyrics. Daryl, you hit it on the head with your list of important things. And you're right, the lyrics are the last thing. Because many songwriters, my favorite, of course, many of you know is Al Stewart. Al frequently has, not frequently, his MO is finish the recording of everything. All the music parts, he'll write the lyrics later. Once everybody else has gone home, they've got the music all in the can, and this was the case with many of his albums. You're the Cat, or some of his, and the whole album pretty much had everything finished, everybody went home, and then he got to work on the lyrics, came up with some great ones, obviously. So that's always something that now many songwriters don't work that way. Bob Dylan sits down and tells you the story and doesn't change it very often, and doesn't rewrite it very often. He will rewrite the chords pretty often. He'll just play the same song, the same story, and play a completely different set of chords because they are kind of incidental to the song and the story he's trying to tell you. Most other songwriters, the melody is very important and the chord progression is really important, and if you change it, now you hear something like this. Okay, has anybody heard the Byrds version from the 1973 album Reunion? Hello, cowgirl and sand. They made it a country. They changed the progression, kept with the same melody, added a country feel, a country rhythm. Very cool. Really cool album. Things will get better. Another neat song from that. Okay. Did I mention the uploader is working? And I'm going to try to get some reviews done next week. Mark, your Strawberry Fields is very cool. I hope to have more to say about it than I do right now. And, Fretboard Geometry. Doug, I was so glad when he said, you know what, I got another episode of this I want to put together, because I had already been thinking about expanding that a little bit more. I've got a bunch of stuff I want to add to this, because it is not that difficult if you especially go with the path that Doug has started laying out of recognizing scale patterns. What I like to do with a lot of my students is get them to recognize intervals. Oh man, come on. There we go. You know what that interval was, right? Or if you hear this, or if you hear this. Being able to recognize those intervals by ear is one thing, but being able to recognize them on the guitar is another. One of my students was here Tuesday, and we started talking about playing scales and thirds coming up the G and the B string, playing a G scale. Practice that. Get back to me on that next week. It's really useful. Then figure out how to do it on the first string in the key of C, first and second string. Okay, thirds, important things on the guitar. Let me think. That's it. That's almost all I want to talk about today. Oh, I did put up a little post this morning. A couple comments have come through where people were thinking, you know, I need more information than what's put in a lesson. And I hope I get a little bit of feedback on that, because it'll help us out with a few things. I was kind of confused about the Rhiannon one. Maybe somebody can help me out with that. That's where I'm going there. Let's see. I've also been brushing up on my Antonio Loro tunes. Well, it's getting there. I'm not sure if that's the steel string. Well, as you probably know, I'm going to go ahead and play classical tunes on steel string guitar. Darn it. No matter what the purists say. Okay, let's see. I think I've played enough stuff for you today, especially if I don't get to anything next week, because I'm not even sure. I think I'm going to have my guitar with me, but I have to go a little family trip to softball in Florida. Check on the baby of the family. So I hope everybody else has a great week, and hope it's warming up. We finally got some rain in here. It's nice. It's been blustery and pouring. I even had to like close the doors in here and turn on some lights instead of my usual just leave the doors open and stuff like that. So news today is done in a different setting. Well, same setting as usual. Okay, that's it for February. Let's see. I talked about camp. Talked about Doug. Okay, I'm going back to work. See you in March.